Kala Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Kadash, double honors to the apostles, salute to you, brothers, teaching the word in sincerity and in truth. Let me hear it from the horse's mouth, in it, as they say. So let me go straight here and play this. We're in the end times, bro. World War III, the mark of the beast, all out chaos. China, Russia, all that good stuff. Let's America in war. Let's play this. So you can hear him say it. UK's Defence Secretary, because Russia pointed some lasers at the UK. Right, let's play this.
Good morning. Good morning, and thank you for being here. I'd like to update you on the threats our country faces and the decisions this government is taking in response. As I speak, a Russian spy ship, the Yantar, is on the edge of UK waters north of Scotland, having entered the UK's wider waters over the last few weeks. This is a vessel designed for gathering intelligence and mapping our undersea cables. We deployed a Royal Navy frigate and RAF P-8 planes to monitor and track this vessel's every move, during which the Yantar directed lasers at our pilots. That Russian action is deeply dangerous, and this is the second time this year that this ship, the Yantar, has deployed to UK waters. So my message to Russia and to Putin is this: we see you, we know what you're doing, and if the Yantar travels south this week, we are ready. And I want to praise the dedication and professionalism of our armed forces. They work 24/7 every day of the year to keep this nation safe. But this is also a stark reminder that we are in a new era of threat. Our world is changing. It is less predictable. It is more dangerous.
Yeah, that he said our world is changing. It's less predictable. It's more dangerous. You know, it's like the normal. Just get up. You know, go along as normal. Well, we're in a time. What the scripture says is a time for peace and a time for war. And the scripture says knowing the time, you gotta know the times. So they're telling you right now that we're in the same era, but you got World War III looming, as it was, you know what I'm saying? Let's play some more, man. This is the UK Defence Secretary saying this, bro. Let's play.
And in the last year alone, we've seen the Israel-Iran war bring the Middle East close to the very brink. Armed conflict break out between India and Pakistan. Chinese spies targeting our democracy at home. Putin escalates still further his war in Ukraine. And in just this last year, we've also seen Europe's skies plagued by drone disruptions. We've seen Russian incursions into NATO airspace double, and we've seen 90,000 cyber attacks on the UK defence system alone. This is a new era of threat. It demands a new era for defence, an era of hard power, strong allies, and of sure diplomacy. And as the threat grows, Britain must step up, and we are. Earlier this year, the Prime Minister said security and defence, and I quote, is now the central organising principle of government.
So how they're gonna do this? He was talking about cyber attacks and all sorts of stuff, man. This is Revelation 12 and 12 right here. And they're trying to set up a global new world order, one world government, one world army, and all that. But check this. So what they're going to do, have drafts? We're going to have drafts? Where you have to go, if you're a certain age, you have to fight in the army. And then they got this digital ID, which leads to the chip. They need to control people. We're talking about how many 19,000 cyber attacks did they say, man? So I'm letting him speak. I'm gonna close this out and do another video on this. Just make him speak. because this just shows you the times we're in. If they're saying it, and they're the ones at the head of the society right now. That's what the scripture says. That they know that they have a short time. The scripture's telling you how they're moving.
The pillar
Most High controls the heart of the king. I could get that. Let's play.
on which everything else stands or falls. And I have to tell you, I'm proud to be part of a government that knows our first duty is to protect the nation and keep our citizens safe. A government that has made a historic commitment to increasing defence investment because our national security does not come for free. So today I will set out how the choices being made by this government before, during and beyond the budget are essential to match these rising threats, how the fantasy savings promised by opposition parties and their record of undermining defence would leave Britain underprotected, and also how this investment comes with a fundamentally new Labour approach, a defence dividend that is all British industry, British jobs, British communities.
In a few words, please tell us what you're calling about today.
I've got a broken...
Okay.
Back in opposition, the then Defence Secretary Ben Wallace admitted his government had hollowed out and underfunded the British Armed Forces. It was a brutal but honest assessment.
So people were getting on the UK army and that. You know what I'm saying? And all this, and then people. So it's all a mess. So they're gonna have to draft people and shit. But you heard what he said anyway. I'm gonna close it out on that because I'm gonna do a part 2 to it. Revelation 12:12, Ephesians 5:15, man. And even with Russia, Gog and all that, the Lord shall put hooks in their jaws and things of that nature. Because World War III is going to happen, which is mainly going to be Babylon the Great, which is America getting firmly nuclear destroyed. But you know, you got all these countries that are going to be involved. But we're in a time of war. Basically, we're in a time of war. Okay, so you gotta know the times, man. It's a high time to wake up out of sleep. Alright, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.